everyone! Blondie and I are finding new places to walk. It is gorgeous, but she does have to stay on the leash. Our further explorations of the Gary Player signature golf course revealed that it was not the walking trail treasure trove I initially thought it was. Most of the golf cart paths are for members and players only. At the boat, while Blondie and I are on our early morning walk, Lee prepares morning coffee from this no-sign shop that keeps limited hours. One day, while walking by, we were enticed by the delicious aromas emanating and made our first coffee purchase there. Coffee, which we now purchase by the kilo. We will, probably, in addition to this recently purchased kilo, buy another kilo. We never leave La Paz without a good supply on board. This past week has been comprised of a vet visit for a yeast infection, putting the boat back together, such as reinstalling the Dodger, bringing the dinghy on board after being in the water for 3 weeks, cleaning the marine growth off the hull, and odd jobs like replacing a broken fastener on the window covers. Things that sound trifling, but which take time. It had been 3 years since the oil level had been checked on the windlass. So as the boat was being prepped for painting, Lee disassembled the windlass. The oil level glass is in such an obscure location on our older Maxwell windlass that it requires almost complete disassembly. After all that work, Lee sounded almost disgusted when he affirmed the oil level was just fine. After the boat was painted and Lee was ready to remount the windlass, he had forgotten which of the 3 electrical connectors on the motor was ground and needed to test with the voltmeter. As I was helping him, I couldn't help but notice the stainless on the Samson post needed polishing. Another little chore. And since the kayak was still in the water because we had brought the dinghy on board, why not polish the stainless guard on the stem, the whisker stay fittings, and, oh, for good measure, the lower portion of the wind vane. We also had a new Boom Gallows constructed and painted, as the handhold on the previous one had broken and the overall condition was starting to deteriorate. To get it ready for mounting, I needed to figure out how to line the boom cutouts with leather. Horses had been my life growing up, and when Lee and I were packing up our house in 2016, I came across my shaps used in Western equestrian competitions that I had scrimped and saved for as a teenager. I brought them to the boat, thinking that maybe the leather would be good for chafe protection. They came in handy for this job. After measuring and deciding what size of strips to cut, I marked and used kitchen shears to cut the soft leather. I began with the center cutout, and I am glad I did, as it was a learning process as I went along, with me becoming better at keeping the center of the strip aligned, the bronze nails more evenly spaced, and working faster. As the boom is usually resting in the center, the side cutouts will be more visible, and of course, the last side I completed was the best job of the 3. The chocolate color looks stark against the gray of the gallows, but I imagine it will fade and become grayer over time. Next week, Lee will do some shaping in order to fit the wood in place. Oh, and I might add that we find fishing tackle boxes of different sizes handy for keeping odds and ends sorted, such as nuts, different sizes of cotter pins and rings, clevis pins, and even making it very easy to have the bronze nails at hand. After measuring the height of the jib hoist, sheeting angles, the old sail, and taking other measurements, Lee sent off the information for a more detailed sail quote for a jib that will fit the new furler. Hopefully, the sail will be ready at the end of April when our FAMAMA, our tourist visa, expires, and we will have to return to the United States. Having a sewing machine and various supplies on board also enabled me to steal some ideas from our neighbor boat, a lovely Pacific Seacraft 37 that came down this year in the Baja. I had observed the very neat-looking clew strap made with webbing and Velcro, so much better looking than our tacky-looking rope tied around the boom. Luckily, I had heavy-duty 1-inch polyester webbing and marine Velcro to duplicate this idea. If it works well for us, I will order some Dyneema webbing when we are in the States to make another one. The other idea I copied was the use of loops hooked around the horn of the cleat to hold excess line. I'm not sure about the lengths. I made 4 in different lengths, and we'll see which one is the most practical. We have been busy getting ready for our pending departure, but that doesn't mean we haven't enjoyed ourselves. Most days at lunch, we play a hand of Baja Rummy, and we always enjoy the sunset. Yeah, we have a spectacular sunset this evening. We're sitting out here and having happy hour, and this is our sunset. There is nothing so satisfying as a productive day capped with indescribable colors and a feeling of contentment. In the coming week, we look forward to John and Christy's arrival, sightseeing, last-minute preparations, and a weather window. So, until then,